going to do a fun little project, something that's going to be pretty easy. Going to make some paper mache rattles, wands type of thing. They'll be really cute to tie on a package. You can stick them in a stocking. You can tie them onto a wreath, have a doll holding them. There's just a variety of ways that you can use these. What you want to do is buy some ping pong balls. I happen to find these at the Dollar Tree, but I'm sure Walmart sells ping pong balls. Just take you some sharp little scissors or an ice pick, but you just want to be really careful. I like working on the seam because it seems to be able to bust through easier. And if your seam splits, it's no biggie because we're going to be gluing these and adding paper mache to them. But what we're going to stick in here is one of these little dowels I bought. They're about 1/4 of an inch around. And once again, if you can't find dowels that are already cut, I got these at the Dollar Tree. You can buy a long stick of dowels at a lumber store, even Walmart, and then just cut them down. These are probably about, I don't know, 8 inches long or so, but you can make them however big you want. And then just might have to take a pencil to help get the hole just a little bit bigger. Like I said, if you puncture through the other end, don't worry about it. Okay, that should be good. Stick that in there. If for some reason it would indent on you, you can just take your little scissors and work it the way around. Then you can use beans or rice or whatever you want to put in here so that it's going to sound like a rattle. I like to use popcorn because that just fits in the hole perfectly, and it actually really sounds like a rattle. And then just put that back in there. We'll glue these into place, but I just wanted to show you how it works. What I'm going to do next off camera, I'm going to paint my wands because I'm going to do some like Halloween. I'm going to do some like Christmas, but I'm going to go off camera and paint all my little wands, sticks on them, and then I'll return. I'm back. As you can see, I got all the ping pong balls glued to the sticks. They're on there securely. I just used some tacky glue, clear gel tacky glue. And what I did is I just brushed a little bit on the inside of the ping pong ball opening. And then I put my stick in, and then I put some more glue around the outer edge. And I just set them on the styrofoam disc. You can see the holes I pinched in. I just set them up on that to let them set. I don't know. I probably let them set like 15 minutes or so. And then I went ahead and just got my cheapy acrylic paints out and I painted them. Now, of course, it's your own personal preference, but everything I do, for the most part, when it comes to wood items and cloth, I like my things to look time-worn, primitive, grungy, whatever label you want to give it. But so I don't worry about painting them well. Like I didn't worry about if the stripes were straight or anything like that. And I just gave him thin coats. And like this one, I did it kind of like a candy corn. And then just, you can tell the ones that are white and red are the Christmas ones. But I just take a small piece of sandpaper. Just a minute, doorbell, barking. I've got the glue applied to all of them. I've got my little styrofoam disc up here on my cart because I didn't take the plastic off of it, so it makes a horrible glare. But you can see how shiny this is. That's because of the glue. And I'm going to just take some of this paper mache I have. And to start out, I just put it on like the top. And you want to just form it around. And you can tell if you don't have enough glue on here because it would just, start sliding right off and not wanting to stick. But you do your paper mache how you want. I don't care if mine's kind of lumpy and bumpy and so forth because once again, I am not picky and I like my stuff to look old and primitive like and just whimsical and funky, and you get the idea. But I'm going to just keep going around till I get this completely covered. just like so, till I get a nice ball here. Probably could have used a little cup of water beside me, and I'll probably go get some, because if my hands, if I can dampen my hands just a little bit while I'm working with this, it does help give you a smoother finish to it. I'm not paying attention if I'm still on camera, so sorry if I get off. I get so into what I'm doing, I forget about that I'm filming. But it's just like making a big old chocolate covered lollipop or something, you know, where you've seen those at a fancy bakery or something, like a big cake pop. Now, even if since this one is the snowman, of course I do want it to be round, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna mess with putting a little hat on him or not. I might. It just depends on how easy of a time I have working with this. Of course, the thicker you get it, the longer it's going to take to dry. If you set it in front of a fan or something. Now, these don't have any metal on them. You could put them in your microwave, or you could set them in your oven. But I'll tell you, if you let your celluclay, now remember, I'm talking about celluclay, not paper clay. It's an entirely different product. But if you let this clay dry super, super fast, then you're going to get some cracks in it probably. Now, see, to me, that wouldn't bother me. But I'm just kind of letting you know. Now, see, I'm really happy with this one. It's just pretty round. It'll pass for a snowman. Now, this clay isn't going to dry fast, so I'm going to form up all the rest of the balls on them, and then I'll come back and do one with some features, like for like maybe a cat or something, just so you can see. But yeah, it's all pretty self-explanatory. And down here where this is kind of loose, you want to kind of push this up against here better, and you could always put a little glue. But we're going to finish these off later with some trims and stuff, because you don't want just a, if you type this to a package, you just don't want it like this. But these are so cute, and see, this is going to have some weight to it, and you can't hear the rattle quite as well now because it's inside of this. But when this dries and it becomes it, you know, God, could I say that more? When it's dry, you're going to be able to hear it better, because of course the moisture and all is keeping the sound back. But let me finish up with these and I'll be back. I'm going to try this again. I made one snowman, I thought, and put it on a stupid Halloween stick instead of the red and white one. And I thought, oh well, I'll just turn it into a pumpkin head, a jack-o'-lantern. That was pretty easy to do. Well, then my frickin' camera froze up and I lost all 5-minute footage. So I've got 3 done so far. I've got a witch, a snowman, and a pumpkin guy. So now I'm going to do a snowman for you on camera. As you can see, my hands are getting pretty crusty. It's hard to do because I have to be careful that I don't knock any of the paper mache off that's already on there. You're going to want to get out your glue again. And what we're going to do, last time I did some paper mache stuff, I used a big plastic needle that I used for my crocheting, but I came across, I have one of these thingies. I don't even know what it's called. But what you want to do is kind of decide where you want the eyes. I'm going to put the eyes pretty far apart on this one. And even if you go through to the plastic, it really doesn't matter because you're going to paint this later anyway. And once again, because I really don't care that this is just so-so, I mean, to me, there's no right or wrong way. Now, you that really get concerned about that kind of stuff and want yours perfect, well, have fun. And then I'm going to make a hole here, and it's going to be where I'm going to put its nose. So I'm going to just kind of keep going around till I have a pretty good opening. Let me get closer. Hopefully I can get closer without getting too blurry. Let me see if I can autofocus you a minute. There we go. And then I'm going to want to dip into my glue and put some glue inside of that. Just enough so that I'm going to be able to get that nose to stay in there. And now that I know where my nose is going to go, I'm going to take this little thing again, and I'm going to just, I want just a straight line for my mouth. So I'm going to just go across here like so and just make an indentation. Now my other one I did was just a straight line. So I'm going to widen this out just a little bit, because when I paint this one, I want to give this one maybe some teeth, make him look really funky. And I'm going to stick that back in my holder, and now I'm going to make him a little hat. All I have to do is take a piece of this clay here, and I'm going to just press it down and make a flat little round disc. It doesn't have to be perfect, because it's going to be like this is an old snowman that's been weathered out in the wind, and his hat's gotten all tattered. And I'm going to put just some glue in the center of this, and wherever I want his hat to be, and I like my hats little. I just scratched my face and got paper mache all over it. I like my hats little, and then I stick my brush way down in the glue and got it all over the handle, little roll here. And I like my hats to the side. I'm going to put this to the opposite side that I did the other one. And then I'm going to glue that on top. And I'll show you this in a minute. And I'm going to press down so that I'm sure that that stays in place. When I press down, see if I can get you. I'm going to press down and kind of make an indentation in the middle, because now I'm going to just set his little square part of his hat right on top of that. So now I'm going to take a little bit more clay, and I'm going to form me a little rectangle type cylinder that is supposed to represent the top of his hat. Once again, you can make yours look realistic. I'm not into realistic. I'm just into when someone glances at this, they think, oh, look at that cute little hat. I don't want it too fat. The other hat was pretty. And I'm going to have it.
A message has been received.
And of course, my phone. Tell you, between the UPS guy and the phone today, I had it turned down a minute ago. My daughter called, so I turned it back on. Okay, so I've got me a little thing like that. I'm going to take my snowman head, and I'm going to just press that down onto there, and then I can finish forming it. See, I have that split in the back. See, I don't care if I have a split in the back, because to me, that's just going to add to the charm of having it look old and like I didn't. I think there's a difference between trying too much and overworking something and still not having it look good and just kind of going with whatever happens, because once these are painted and aged, any little flaw, I always say when people buy my stuff that all the flaws are free, intentional and free, because any little flaws just add to the character or something, I think. Of course, I'm off camera, but I'm just working this down, kind of pushing the edges down into that other. I think I actually want his hat to kind of go the other direction. I've got a big old split over here, which I do need to fix a little bit, because if I don't, the entire hat's liable to crack apart. Worst case scenario, you get this done, it gets dry, it falls off. Soda clay is so cheap, much cheaper than paper clay because it hasn't been processed yet like paper clay. So it is cheaper. Worst case scenario, your little hat falls off, and what do? You make another one, paint it, stick it on there, age it, and no biggie. Okay, good enough. So I'm going to finish up. I'm going to do the rest of my cats and stuff, and when I get them all formed up and they get dry, I'm going to show you because I need to stop moving them around or they're going to fall apart. I've got them all done except for my last one, and I'm going to do this one as a cat, and I'm going to just show you how I did my other cat. Actually, the way my cats look, you could paint it as an owl if you wanted, but I just take a small piece of clay and I'm going to make an ear out of it, just simply by pressing that ear into like a point like so, and you just want to make sure you press the edges down into the clay. And I don't own a cat, so my anatomy of ears and stuff on a cat aren't exact, but nothing I do. I could put this on the other side so I wouldn't have to reach across the entire frame every time. And then it's kind of hard to do because I'm trying to look where you guys can see too, but we'll get it. So I'm gonna get me a couple ears on here. I get off camera, sorry, but I don't care if they're not exact, but I don't want one in the back and one in the front, make them look like a unicorn either. See, now I'm ripping off my clay from my ping pong ball in the back because it's starting to get a little bit more dry, and now I'm messing with it so much. So after I get this cat formed, I'm going to have to leave him alone a while, but I'll look him over and make sure that they're all covered good still since I've been messing with them so much. And now I'm going to sneeze. Oh my goodness, excuse me. It's like 70% humidity here, and ugh, so gross. Then, okay, my ears are pretty good. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a tiny bit of clay, about this much. I know it's hard to tell. And then I'm going to come down here a ways where I want its eye to be, and I'm going to just smash that in and kind of form it around so it gives me a little eye shape. And I know that looks pretty bulky like right now and thick, but I'll just keep playing with it until I get it the way I want it, because I will actually be painting inside that. And good enough. So then I'll do the other side. Just take me a little bit and kind of guesstimate where I think it'll look good. Now, I have a little bit of fingernails. I mean, nothing major, but if you don't have any fingernails, you can always use a needle or something and just kind of form it. See, it kind of forms that lid area or whatever around there like that. Now, and see, it could start being an owl if you wanted it to be. But once you get it painted like a black cat, then it takes away so much that looks like an owl. But you could paint yours as a cat. Ignore the phone. I still forgot to turn it off. See, if I wouldn't have brought it to your attention, you probably wouldn't have thought anything of it. But me being me, I have to say something. So I'm going to just kind of smash this on here. I just want his little nose to be a little bit raised up, but I don't want it super big. So if I get it too big, I can always just press some down. But their little noses, I mean, it's not going to look like a real nose, but like that. And then I'm going to take a little bit more, and I'm going to give him some little cheeks. I just take a little ball, and now I'm going to just press it down on there. And you just have to have faith. After this is painted, it's going to look more like a black cat. If not, well, it'll look like something. Okay, and then I'll do the other side and give him a little cheek over here. And you can paint yours realistic. I mean, you that know how to paint realistic animals and stuff, you can really go to town and make yours realistic. Okay, the other one, I just made a great big mouth, and I think on this one I might do the same thing because I just like him to have lots of teeth and all. But what I'm going to do different on this one, I made the mouth wide, and this one I'm going to just kind of do me a line across and not probably give him teeth like so. The little cheek got flattened out, but when he's painted, this eye is a little bit fatter than the other one, so I can smoosh some of this back down in there and not make that eye quite so big. It really doesn't matter. I mean, I just need to leave me some space in there to paint a little eyeball looking thing. We know how realistic my eyeballs are. Not. I'll show you the other one if I can show it without the hat and all. See, I just made him a little hat thing because he's on the candy corn one, and I'll paint that like candy corn later. So once again, like we did on the snowman, you're going to want to put some glue on the top. And this guy, what I do with my glue, this guy, I think I'll just put a big cone head thing on him, and then maybe have a little pumpkin sticking out of the top. But that's what I'm doing. When I come back, they're going to be painted. You don't need to watch me paint them. It's no big deal. They're not like realistic type painting. So catch ya. This is what's happening now. My little critters here weren't completely dry. And me being me, that's so impatient, I started painting them anyway. And I've knocked the hats off some of them, like the snowman, the top of his hat. I broke this frickin' thing off, but no big deal. I mean, this is still so moist, and the way I paint them, it makes them really get wet again, because remember, this is just paper, so if you put water and stuff on it, you're gonna re-wet this, and that's what happened. I get these so wet while I'm painting them that his little hat came off, but no big deal. Once this is dry and this is dry, then I'll just glue this back on. Hopefully you can't hear the weed eater. And, oh, see, this was 2 pieces. Gosh, I'm sure you can hear that. That's really loud. This goes on top of this little cat's head. And so I think it goes the other way. But I'll just paint those 2 pieces and I'll glue that back on. But what I do, you can tell how darker this is than this. What I do is that, and this is why mine gets so wet, and you don't have to do it like this. I'm just telling you how I do it, because I want mine to look like this. Really crappy. Crappy in a good way is what I call it. Because see, I swear I say, how old, time-worn, primitive, grungy, 150 times like you don't get it, which I know you get it, but it's just how I am. But I like it time-worn, I like it primitive. So this is how I get this look on here. I have my gungy mixture here, and I just brush it all over. And this is what I mean. See, this is just a water mixture, so this is wetting this a lot. And then what's still moist, I paint it.
A message has been received.
Oh, Lord.
A message has been received.
We got the weed eater. We got the phone. Let me turn that down. But that's what I do. Now, if you don't like yours real gungy looking, and on the white ones or whatever, you don't have to use the liquid. You can just paint it however you want. I'm trying to find something that I can paint on that I can show you. I haven't decided what color I'm going to do my witch yet, but I can't decide if I want to do it a flesh color or if I want to give it like a lime green face. I might just funk it up and do it a lime green, but see how I got some of the paper mache residue on here? That's no big deal. I can just sand that down a little bit. And then when I see, I can just put my staining stuff right over the top of this stick. Look how much that helps age that. And then just kind of wipe it off. And if there's some crunchy stuff in the paper mache, nobody's caring. I guess if they're picky, put it this way, I won't be giving these to anybody that's picky. And if I sell them, I'll make sure they realize that, what did I say? Primitive, grungy, time-worn. You get that idea. Nobody should buy my stuff that wants cute, perfect. But that's what I do. You just, gosh, I painted a little bit of everything. Here, let me do this so you can see. After I wet it down a little bit, let me get my bottle over here because I work out of the cap or the bottle. Just dip it in the paint, and then just go like this. And just spread that out. You don't want it on really thick. You want to just dip it in, spread it out. If it goes someplace you don't want it, big deal. You can paint over it with a different color. This is all about, let's give it a name. We're free form painting. We're free painting. We're, I don't know, doing it the hickety-pickety way. The hickety-pickety way doesn't care. So that's it. That's what I do. And then I'll just see, and see, look how neat that is. It's kind of a gray color, but you can tell it's like black, like on this witch's hat. See how that's not solid, but you know that's a black hat. I'm going to get all these painted up. Let them get dry, get the hat glued back. And the thing is, if you do it the way I'm doing it right now, then all the aging's already done. You shouldn't have to go back and use any stain or anything. But I'll tell you what, well, I'll tell you now because I might forget. The way I used to do these, I'd paint them, and then I'd go back with oil-based stain, like an old English color or something, and go over them. That is so stinky. And that oil base, you know, I just end up throwing my sponge back. But that's just another step. And I found out if I use this staining liquid I use and just kind of stain like this as I paint, it just gives it more of a worn look. Get it on camera. Now I haven't decided if I'm going to seal these or not. It'll just depend on when they're completely dry, how I'm filling. I may give them another coat of this, let them dry. That's what makes it take so long for my stuff to dry, because I'm constantly re-wetting it. But I'll just get a feel for it. I don't really want them shiny, but if I sell these, I feel like maybe they should be sealed just a tiny bit, but we'll see. I'll be back when I get them all painted. Before the battery runs out, I want to get to this part real quick. What I did is I just cut me some strips. Oh, they're probably, I don't know, as you can see, they're not straight. Anywhere from a ½ inch down to a ¼ of an inch, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're about 18 inches long. What I'm going to do, I'm soaking these in my staining goop. Get them all saturated. Then I'm going to leave some of them just plain goopy. You know, they'll just look like stained fabric, but make sure it's all wet. Squeeze a little out so it's not too drippy. So over here on my plastic I have, then I'll pick a color. I'm going to do them in all Halloween shades and gee, I can't talk. And of course I need a couple for the Christmas ones. And I can't get my paint to come out now. good to do videos and be prepared, which I'm not. So my typical method, dip, brush some on. Let me get you closer so you can actually see what's going on here. So dip in the goop, dip in the paint. Oh, not on the camera very well, am I? But you get the idea. You don't really have to.
A message has been received.
Not even gonna say anything.
A message has
Gosh! And I turned it down, and I just turned it back up. It's just gonna happen. Just gonna have to get used to it. If you watch anything of mine, make a note. She's unprofessional. Unprofessional in her videoing. But trust me, very, very professional in that you will always get what you order. And I'm always here to help in any way that I can. That really loud ding, if you heard it, was my toaster oven going off. I decided to stick my heads in that toaster oven. So this is it. I'm going to do them in all. Was I even on the camera at all during all that? See, look at that. Make sure you put some plastic or something down. I just threw a bag over here. And then, thing is, you want to squeeze these up like so that when they dry, they're going to dry all crinkly like. So I'll continue on. I'll be back when everything's dry and I have everything put together. Thanks for your patience. Oh, almost to the end. This will be the last part. Everything's done except for this one. As you can hear, they actually still rattle. I made a couple little holes and just a couple of them, and all I'm going to do is make some little wire type embellishments, and I have some rusty jingle bells. I'll also put in the instructions how to rust jingle bells or whatever. And all I'm going to do is take a little bit of this clear tacky glue. I'm going to put it in the end, on the end of this, just to help it secure itself inside. See, I made just a little tiny hole. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to just shove this down in here just so it holds. Makes it a cute little doodad. All I did was take some of this black wire. You can use whatever thickness you want. Of course, you'll want it to be able to fit in through that. If for some reason your wire's too thick to fit through the little loop at the end of a jingle bell, just take a little jump ring or some thinner wire, but you can take a little jump ring and go through and then put this through that. But I just cut it off using these, and then I just swirl my jingle bell, see, I shouldn't even be allowed to do videos. Just twist it there. Just twist it and make a little swirly wire thingy. Phew, that was painful. All right, now what I like to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue around this top part of my little dowel, because I don't want my ties that I made to be sliding off. And I put 3 strands on each one. Now what I do is after they're dry, I take them and I go like this, because it helps spray the sides really well. You can see some of those little pieces coming off, and it just gives it a, you know, I hate to keep saying time-worn and primitive, but it does. And it makes the material soft, because when you paint material, it makes it stiff. And then I just kind of spread out my little pieces here around that glue. And I don't care if they end up not being even when they come down the sides, because that just kind of adds to the look. But just pull them through like so, and then you're going to just tie a knot and make sure you get up there where that glue was, and tie it to the side a little bit. You all know how to tie a knot. And this is going to finish them off. What I did do before I added this and all is because I wanted my I didn't want my paper mache to be shiny, but I did want to give it a little bit of a finish. So what I happened to do, see, I didn't get that through there, but I did. Pull that tight. Here you go. I'm going to move out a little bit so you can see everything. I took some of this decoupage or decoupage, whatever, and this is on here, and you can tell it is not shiny. It is the only decoupage type glue that I've ever found that does not make stuff shiny. And I didn't want mine shiny, but I did want it sealed, so that's what I did. And I did the stick, and I did the paper mache. If you want, I'm going to show you the rest of them. I mean, obviously, you can finish these all different ways. You make them really cute. You can make them bright. I didn't put hair on my witch. I didn't see that there was any need to put hair on the witch, but I think she turned out super cute. She has a hook nose and everything. If you want to put hair on yours, fine. You could paint it on. You could put some strips of black cloth. You could put raffia. You could put some Spanish moss, whatever. I just didn't want something else that to mess with, to be gluing, because if you put them on a package or whatever, I just don't want a bunch of mess. Now these I just left simple. On my snowman, you can see how dimensional his little nose and everything is, and his hat. You could use snow ticks. Originally, I was thinking about using snow ticks on him, but I didn't. You could apply the glue and then put some mica, dust powder or glitter or mica flakes. You could put some sparkly decoupage glue, whatever you want. I chose not to because I just didn't want to, once again, have a bunch of glitter and stuff to mess with. Here's the other one that I put the little hat with the jingle bell on and teeth. This one is the candy corn one, but I think they turned out really cute. I'm really happy with them. I hope that you'll enjoy making these. If you have any questions whatsoever, definitely, get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to help you. Get some of my cords out of the way here. I'm more than happy to help in any way that I possibly can, but I just think they're so stinking cute. I think that, hopefully you'll enjoy making these. But I appreciate you watching, and take care.